Hello, we are going to do your notes on factoring polynomials with 4 terms. So we've done 2, and we looked at difference of squares. We've looked at trinomials where there's 3 terms, and we had to factor it out. We even learned how to do the slip and slide. Now we're going to see what to do if there's 4 terms that we need to factor out. So look at your notes, factoring polynomials with 4 terms, and follow along. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to group the terms. We're going to put the first 2 together and the second 2 together. So I'm going to kind of group it just like that. Put these 2 together, those 2 together. Then I'm going to look for the greatest common factor in each one. So here, my greatest common factor is going to be x squared. When I pull that x squared out, I am left with x plus 7. When I look at this one, I can pull out a 2. When I pull that 2 out, I'm left with x plus 7. Hopefully you notice something here. These 2 are exactly the same. So I'm going to pull that common binomial out. Got my x plus 7 here, my x plus 7 here. I'm going to put these 2 together. This right here is a plus. So when I go to do this, I'm going to have x squared plus 2, because what I'm doing is I'm taking this one, and I'm taking this one, and I'm bringing it down. And then I'm bringing that shared one down. So it's going to give me x squared plus 2 times x plus 7. Then I can check it using FOIL. So let's go ahead and check it. The first is going to give me x to the third. Our outside is going to give me 7x squared. Inside is going to give me 2x. And last is going to give me 14. And that is exactly the same as that right there. So let's look at a couple examples and see how we do this. Again, we're going to divide it right down the middle. That's a plus, and we'll bring that plus down. I'm going to use this side, and then I'm going to use this side. So I group the first 2 terms together, group the third and fourth terms together. I'm going to go ahead and pull out a greatest common factor. In this case, I've got x squared that I can pull out, which is going to leave me an x plus 4. Here, I can pull out a 4. Ooh, I can pull out an 8. I can pull out an 8 there. When I pull that out, that's going to leave me x plus 4. Again, you notice these 2 are the same. And that's what I want. I want those to be the same. I'm going to combine this one and this one to give me my first factor. And then I'm going to use that x plus 4. Again, if I work this out, I would notice I would get that right there. Let's try one more on the front. Okay, I'm going to divide it. I'm going to take the first 2. And I'm going to take the second 2. So here, I'm going to pull out my greatest common factor, a squared. That's going to end up leaving me a plus 2. Here, I'll pull out my greatest common factor, which is 9. And that's going to leave me a plus 2. I put this and this together, a squared plus 9. And I put a plus 2 together. Let's go ahead and do a few more, but let's go ahead and flip over to the back. All right, let's look at number 7. Number 7, I've got 3x squared minus 21x squared, that's cute, minus 21x squared plus 4x minus 28. So again, I'm going to group this. I'm going to group my first 2 together, group my last 2 together, bring down that plus. Here, you notice not only can I pull out an x, I can also pull out a 3. So I'm going to pull out 3. Here I've got x squared. Here I've got x to the third power. So I can actually pull an x squared out of this. This is going to leave an x there, minus a 7 on that one. Here I can pull a 4 out, and that is going to leave me x minus 7. These 2 are the same, which is what I want. So I'm going to get 3x squared plus 4, then x minus 7. Let's look at, which one do you want to do? Let's do 10. All right, let's look at 10. We've got 10m cubed minus 25m squared plus 4m minus 10. I'm going to group it here. Here I can pull out a 5m squared, which is going to leave me a 2m and a 5. Here I can pull out 2, which is going to leave me 2m minus 5. This is a plus sign coming down. That leaves me 5m squared plus 2 times 2m minus 5. And if I look at it, if I take this 5m squared and that 2m, multiply it together, that's going to give me that 10m to the third power. Okay, so what happens when I group the first two together and the second two together and there's no common factor? Because every once in a while that happens. And if you look down where it says challenge, if we look at some of those questions, those are some of those questions like that. So let's look at 15. I've got 2xy plus 5x plus x, minus x squared, minus x squared minus 10y. Now, if I were to group these two together, I could pull out an x. But when I group these two together, there's no greatest common factor for me to pull out. So I'm going to have to look at this a little different. I'm going to say, let's put some x's together and let's put my y's together so that I can pull out a y there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rewrite this. So I'm going to have negative x squared plus 5x plus 2xy minus 10y. So at this point, now that I have rewritten it, and be very careful, if this is in the front and there's nothing in front of it, you know that that's got to be positive, so make sure that's positive. And when you rewrite it, if it's got a negative in front of it, don't forget that that negative goes with that. So when you rewrite it, just be very, very careful to check for your negatives and positives. All right, so now that I've rewritten it, I've put my x's together, I've put my y's together. So now I can pull out my x, right? So let's pull out, I'm going to go ahead and pull out a negative x because I don't want x's. I don't want these in here to be negative. So I'm going to pull out that negative x. So that's going to leave me with an x minus, because that's a negative x, 5. Here, what can I pull out? I can pull out a 2 and a y, and that's going to leave me x minus 5. Remember, I want these to be the same. So if you didn't pull out the negative x here, you would have been left with a positive there, and that would have messed that up a little bit. So pull out that negative if you can. All right, now I have got a negative x plus 2y, and I bring down my x minus 5. Let's go ahead and look at one more. Let's look at number 18, because 18 is just a little bit different. So when I look at 18, I have 10ab plus 21 minus 15a minus 14b. And I look at these and I go, well, that a could go with that b could go with that, but this 21 here, it doesn't have any variables with it. So what can I do with that? Well, if I think about it, 3 times 7 gives me 21. Are any of these numbers divisible by 3 or 7? Well, this one or that one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this with this. So I'm going to rewrite these. I'm going to do my 10ab. I'm going to go ahead and bring this negative 15a to match with that. Then I'm going to have my minus 14b plus 21. So now I'm going to split it this way. So when I do this, I'm going to pull out a 5a here, which is going to leave me a 2b minus 3. And I'm going to pull out a negative 7 here, which is going to leave me a 2b minus 3. Notice I have a 5a minus 7, and both of these again are the same, which is exactly what I want to happen. So I have factored that one out. So this is homework number 9. I want you to go into your homework section, pull out homework number 9, try some of these on your own. Just try them on paper. You don't have to even print it out. Just try some on paper. Then look at the answer key and see if you're getting them right. You're going to need to know how to do all of these for your project number 2.